Everybody joining from all around the world. I am Sarah Simmons and we are going live here at Impact Innovator. Welcoming you guys joining on YouTube, welcoming you guys joining on LinkedIn, and welcoming you guys joining here on Zoom. Now, welcome Alex, Rylan, Devora, Andrea, Kim. I invite you to put your cameras on and share where you're from and what you do. Welcome Lauren, just joining now. Welcome, who else is joining us? So welcome Lauren. Hi Lauren. Write in the chat, where are you from? This is a really intimate session together. So we are completely live and I want to get to know you guys. What do you do? Where are you from? What's going on in your world? So Lauren, you're in Los Angeles, amazing. What do you do? Rylan, you're from New York, fantastic. And what's the biggest problem you guys want to solve here today? Is it how to build sustainable scale? Is it how to build brand awareness? Is it how to be number one in your niche? Now, I am going to be talking today about one roadmap for you to build sustainable scale and be known as the number one in your niche to buyers. So listen carefully and have your papers and pens at the ready. So as I said, what is the number one problem you want to solve right now? So is it sustainable scale? Is it brand awareness? Is it, Sarah, I just don't understand why buyers don't notice what I do? Is it, I just want one roadmap that actually works to scale my business? So as you guys are thinking about that, what we're going to be covering in this live masterclass is 5 virtually unknown billion-dollar buyer secrets of how you, as a mission-driven founder, can scale your business anywhere from 200K to 2 million in additional revenue using not 10 systems, using one simple system to grow your business. Now, does that sound good? Yeah? A good use of your time? Awesome. Alex, can I ask you if you can be letting people in who are joining us live? That would be really, really helpful. Okay, so let's dive in. I want to share this amazing, amazing fact with you guys. Today, you have a greater opportunity than ever before to make a real impact with your business. And this opportunity is something that's going on right now for the next 12 to 18 months. Because if you've had, I don't know how long you guys have had your mission. Is it 1 year? Put your finger up. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? 10. Love it, right? So you know everything about being a mission-driven founder. And I am really excited to tell you, I've been a mission-driven founder since 2007. Right? And I'm going to share more of my story with you in a minute. Welcome, Eddie, just joining us. So I'm talking, Eddie, about how now is the greatest opportunity of all time to scale your mission. And I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how you can do that. And I invite you to put your cameras on. This is live. It is not pre-recorded. And I invite you to really think about your business as you go through today. What is it that you really, really want to achieve in terms of your growth? Welcome, Christine. Hi. Welcome, Kurt. Hi, Kurt. Nice to see you. So I want to ask you guys, what is it that you want to achieve in terms of your growth and your impact, right? And I'm going to be talking about a big, amazing fact. You won't even believe how much opportunity there is in the world of impact and in the world of mission-driven business right now. What you're getting today and what I'm sharing with you guys is a very simple playbook in terms of how to grow your mission to be seen as number one in your niche by buyers so you can build consistent scale. Does simplicity sound like a good thing, everyone? Hands up if that's a yes. Yes! Because I don't know about you guys, but before I came across and built this very system, life felt very complicated. And as all our members share, Sarah, you love simplifying everything. And that's what I've done with this roadmap for you guys, right? I'm giving you here in the next 60 minutes a roadmap that, I was just sharing to Lauren. I've been in the world of mission-driven space since 2007. So actually the thinking behind this system is it's taken 20 years, right? And you're getting it in 60 minutes. One simple playbook that is empowering mission-driven founders just like you guys to scale and add 200K to 2 million in months, not years, using this really simple system. Every day I get messages from our members. I had one this morning from one of our members who said, Sarah, you know what? I've been in your program using this system for 60 days, just 60 days. And she said she's already applied these very steps I'm sharing with you guys to her business that is already enabling her to actually be able to put billion-dollar scale. So I'm talking about 200K to 2 million here. But she's told me this morning it's helping her already have the roadmap in place for billion-dollar scale. So take this very seriously. Now, here's the deal. I'm not here to sell you anything on this masterclass. Now, there is a caveat. Some of you are going to want to take action after the end of this masterclass. And I'm going to open a booking link at the end for those who really want to take action to become number one in their niche. What I'm giving is a very unique opportunity for a one-to-one call with me or my team. And we'll share more about that later. But the first few people that book, they have an opportunity for the direct call with me. And I'm going to share as we go through what happens in that call. But if you want it, book it quickly. So let's get clear. Unless you're already established as the number one in your niche, wow, hasn't the pressure to stand out increased, everybody? Yeah, it has. And I'm going to really share why. Because as I said, there's a few factors going on that's leading to that, right? Now, and aside from that, there's pressure to stand out is increased, as well as that, it's harder and harder to build sustainable wealth with businesses. And the time to build legacy is decreased. I'm going to share why, but I want to ask you guys, because you'll already know all of that. You're smart, amazing people. I want to ask you guys, what are you doing about it, right? Now, who's been taking matters into their own hands, right? Yeah. How does that feel? Can it be tiring? Exactly. It's smart but risky. And I hear you, Lauren. For a long time, I took matters into my own hands. And, it was the long way round. And here we're talking about a different way round, a sharp and fast one. Or I've also done this, hands up here. Have you been implementing many growth systems? Someone says, this is the shiny new thing that's going to be the solution to grow your business. You do it, or you hire that person and, wow, what happens? Well, what often happens is those growth systems promise big profits, but bring bigger risk. Hi, Elisa, just joining. Welcome. And Christina, Eddie, do put your cameras on if you want to get to know me and me know you. So why does we're just talking about different things you can do to grow your business and how, many of them actually create more complexity than simplicity. So many of the growth systems out there bring a lot of risk. The risk typically is large recurring investments of cash, time, overhead, complexity, and who knows if they're even gonna pay off, right? Now, here's a different choice that you can all really think about. And hello, Kelly, who's just joined. What if you, rather than having many systems, much complexity, had just one simple system that you understood and that your buyers understood of really what makes you number one in your niche so that you could just grow consistently week after week, month after month. What if you had that system? What if you had a system that was so simple for you to understand, for your team to understand, for anyone you wanted to influence to understand what is the most important thing for people to value about you as number one in your niche? What difference would that make for your ability to scale? Instead of having to second guess, keep in confusion land, sort of trying to figure out and guess what buyers actually want from you. What if you knew what buyers want? What if you actually knew what buyers valued about you the most? Right? What difference would that make? Write it in the chat. Hi Maria. Hi guys, new guys joining. If you knew what buyers valued about you the most, what difference would it make for you? Huge difference? No difference? A lot of difference? Kelly, you're nodding. Yeah? Mm-hmm. If you knew what buyers really valued about you, what difference would it make? Because here's the thing, right? I've been a buyer for 20 years and I've been an impact entrepreneur for similar amount of time. I'm going to share my story with you guys. But like when you don't know what buyers value about you, all that creates, you change things, do this, do that, do the other. And it creates confusion and complexity. So what if instead you had one simple system that you owned, you understood, that really was underpinned with buyer psychology. So every part of your business aligned to one message, one simple offer everybody understood, one way to sell, and everything was clear and you didn't need to keep trying new things. What if you could receive all the benefits that would enable you to really have category of one leadership? Not only that, but have one simple system that didn't involve recurring fees and that gave you a proven roadmap to whatever scale you want, 6 figures or 7 figures, that you paid for once, didn't pay for again, right? And that enabled you to create your legacy in months, not years. And hello, Kathy, just joining us. Welcome. Now you're like, all right, Sarah, that sounds good. The real question is, how does it work? And huge, Eddie, I love it. And is it real? Right? Here are some of our amazing members who are saying, yes, this system is real. It exists. It's huge, as Eddie, you've shared, and it makes a massive difference. I'm going to be sharing. The only reason I do what I do and I'm here today is because I really love you guys. I love mission-driven founders, and I am one. And I've dedicated the last 20 years of my career to helping mission-driven founders thrive. I'll share more of my story in a minute. But it's the results like these guys, some of our members, people just like you, transforming their worlds. We've got Eugenie and Lois, who have an amazing winery, who were able to implement this system and add 1 million in additional sales to their business in 12 months. Not only that, but they were able to bring their son into their business and build their legacy. We've got Carol, who went from confused.com, had an amazing, great business, but didn't know what it was that buyers valued about her. So she was doing all sorts of different things to one simple system that enabled Carol to have 200K consistent sellout launches. We've got Alexandra struggling for years to get funding, got it straight away, really quickly in 30 days. Paula, from burnout to successful exit in 12 months, right? More of their stories are coming. Now, my promise to you is, and welcome Rafi, who's just joined, is that I'll give you more information and insights on what buyers actually want from you for free than most people ever give you. Why? Because of what I've just shared. My mission is your success. It's the one thing that I care about. My team know it, and I share it all the time. Carol, that lady I mentioned, why she does what she does. And I want to hear what you guys all do, because Carol wants to help farmers in Tibet feed their families and to send their kids to school with a really sustainable livelihood. Now, since doing my program, Carol's been able to give jobs to 4,000 families in Tibet, right? Sustainable livelihood, they're sending their kids to school. That's why I do what I do. And I'm sure it's what you do as well. You guys all have a dream and a mission to make an impact. And that's why I'm here, so you can enable that. So let's start with some founder truths. I'm brilliant at what I do, but I feel invisible to buyers. Who connects with that one? I hear you massively. I know you're brilliant, and I know how difficult it is to get buyers to see you. I'm frustrated. Founders with worse offers than me make 10x more than me. I've hired agencies, coaches, experts, spent thousands and thousands, and I'm still not scaling. I feel depleted. I quit my job to make a difference. Now I'm working harder than ever and earning less. Now, this is a big one, guys. It took me many years to really understand this about mission. And I do invite you guys to write what your mission is in this chat. What is your mission? You know, we've got Eddie, Christine, Rafi, Marie, Kelly. What's your mission, guys? Right, Kurt, what's your mission? Rylan, Devora? Because here's what I learned about mission-driven business. It's different. You know, what does mission-driven mean? It means you want to make money and make an impact in equal measure. Okay? So this is what Warren Buffett just shared. And hello to Team Gaia who've just joined us. It doesn't matter how hard you row, just the boat you're in. And that's what I learned about mission-driven business, right? For mission-driven business, it's a different boat. So you need a different roadmap to row your boat. And I'm going to share that roadmap with you guys. So by the end of this masterclass, you're going to have discovered a lot. You can see I've written a lot here. You're going to have discovered, right, really the buyer psychology system that's quietly empowering mission-driven founders like the one I mentioned before, who came to me and she said, can you just help me really explain my innovation to buyers? In 60 days, she said, Sarah, you've helped me understand what it is in my business that buyers really value. She's been able to go and speak on stages with that. And that's enabling her to become, you know, I said you can add 200K to 2 million with this buyer psychology system. It's enabling her to become $1 billion business. So you're going to understand this system. You're going to understand why now is the greatest opportunity of all time to scale your mission. You are going to have unlocked an in-house method to scale your business and the exact 5 steps to go from overlooked by buyers to the number one in your niche that will enable you to become that number one in 30 days using this system. And you're going to have unlocked real stories of mission-driven founders just like you who've ditched complicated funnels for simplicity with this system. So, first, who is Sarah? The woman that you're spending your precious time with today, right? So, you know, this masterclass is called Buyer Psychology. Now, I spent a huge part of my career working for billion-dollar brands and retailers as one of their head buyers. And my bosses said, you know, I would be their boss one day because I have a skill. And that skill has transformed many businesses and brands. The skill is being able to systemize within a business what buyers actually want, right? And those are the 5 steps I'm sharing with you today. But my problem was I was doing that for, you know, businesses that just cared about profit and bottom line. And I knew, you know, and I saw mission-driven founders just like you guys who weren't chosen by buyers. And I was like, if they just knew my system, they would be chosen. And so I had to make a decision. Do I carry on in the corporate world earning hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Or do I take the harder road to become an impact entrepreneur myself? Because before I became a mentor, I've used the whole system I'm sharing with you today on my own businesses. That's how I knew it worked. And so I went to my dad and I said, what should I do? And he's an entrepreneur as well. And he taught me that mission comes first. Your purpose comes first. You have to live it and do it. So I quit my job to become an impact entrepreneur in 2007, right? And it's how I built this system. And it's how I understood from the ground up the most important thing you've got to do as a mission-driven founder is ditch complexity and embrace simplicity and systemize everything you do so buyers understand you. So that's also why I built this system, because I realized it does not exist. This system doesn't exist elsewhere, and it isn't something that you can ask ChatGPT. This system is about simplifying your entire business in one simple system so that it's very easy for any buyer to understand inside your heart and your mind and your innovation and what people want from you. So now we'll dive into the 5 steps, 5 secrets. So have your pen and papers ready, and welcome to everybody new that's joined. Welcome Team Gaia who've joined. Nice to see you there. And anyone else who hasn't put their cameras on yet, I do encourage it so that I can get to see you, you can get to see me. Okay, so secret 1, everything I'm sharing on these is a secret and it's a step. And each one of these, when you implement secret 1, step 1, it compounds your growth. Starting today, compounding in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Sound good, everybody? Are you excited about that? We've got a smile from Kurt. Oh, amazing. Any other hands up? Yes. No, I'm bored. Is it the end yet? Okay, so secret 1 is how it's about building a category of 1 foundation. So you might be like, Sarah, I've heard this term category of 1 before. So the most important thing I want to share is what category of 1 isn't when in this context. I'm not just talking about your positioning. Okay, it's part of it. But being a category of 1, building a category of 1 foundation is about simplifying your entire business to be a category of 1. So write that down. I got to simplify my entire business to be a category of 1, right? Not just, a strap line on a website, because that's meaningless. Who already knows that? I met a guy a few months ago, and he said he wished he met me months before that because he'd already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars before he met me. And he said he went through complicated branding agencies and experts, and they created this really snazzy website with a very brilliant category of 1 on. And then he described to me what he did. And I said, well, that is really, really different to what's on your website. And he said, I know, and that's why buyers don't really understand me, right? So that's why I'm not talking about positioning. Category of 1 is everything you do. Positioning is part of it. And if you're one of many, which is 99.9% of people, your business is at risk. And if you're not one of many, but your business is too complicated, it's also at risk. Because here's what happens in an uncertain world. People stop gambling, buyers stop gambling, but they don't stop buying. So, people say to me, oh, business is so difficult. It's so hard. I can't grow my business. That's not true. Actually, your sales grow exponentially when you give buyers clarity of why you're a category of 1, no matter what's going on in the outside world. Because all that happens in uncertain times, which is the world we live in today, people stop gambling and they choose certainty. So you have to make them certain you're the only choice. Category of 1 companies transcend commodity and defy comparison. So why? So today, buyers need instant clarity of why to choose you. So as I said, I worked as a $1 billion buyer and, for many years, and I would only choose the brands that could give me instant clarity of why to choose them. And here's the thing, guys, the instant clarity of why to choose you is these 5 steps. I can't stress this enough, right? If you don't get all of these 5 steps aligned, you're not giving instant clarity to buyers. It's like one of your parts of you are unaligned and the buyer will just move on, ignore you, or say something I'll say in a minute. So I talked today, like, you guys have a mission. You know, some of you have said, like, for 10 years you've had this mission, right? Lauren was sharing it earlier. 10 years. Okay. How long have the others of you guys, you know, Kelly, Kurt, Maria, Eddie, Christine, Rafi, how long have you guys had your mission for? Team Gaia, 5 years, 10 years, 3 years? Let's hear it. How long have you guys had your missions for? 5, 10, 3, 1. So whatever.
Just recently figured it out.
Great. Okay, you've recently figured it out.
After speaking with you, Sarah.
I love it, Kurt. Yeah, amazing. 5-star Trustpilot review, Kurt. That's what we want. 10 years plus. Yes, longer than you can remember. So here's the thing. I've been in the world of mission-driven business, as I mentioned earlier, since 2000. It wasn't 7, actually. It was 6. And guess what? Now, finally, in 2026, that's 20 years. Now is fact on fact on fact. The biggest opportunity to scale a mission-driven business in the history of the world ever.com. Why? Because 84 trillion in wealth, we've got some millennials and Gen Z and whatever the next age group is here today, is being transferred to millennials and Gen Z. 73% who value purpose before price, right? Those people are buying, they want to buy from mission-driven businesses. That's a huge, I mean, it's an insane, who can even imagine what 84 trillion is? So Team Gaia, you've had your mission 20 years and now is the best time for your particular topic. Amazing! Exactly. How exciting is that, right? So this is why I invite you to take what I'm saying today very seriously. Not that I wouldn't think you would, but you have a window of time, right? The next 12 to 18 months to really become the number one in your niche with your community, scaling the way you want. Because, you know, you've got this opportunity here, but we all know what else is happening. AI, which is great, not great, whatever anyone thinks about it. But what AI means is, yes, the world's going to change. And I'm really excited about it because actually I think there's going to be bazillions more entrepreneurs who, you know, actually get cut out of their companies and don't have that role anymore. But what that means is there's bazillions of more entrepreneurs who are all going to be mission driven. So that's why you have to be number one now to capitalize on this. So here's the thing. You know you are replaceable when you hear this. The overwhelming reality. Who's heard send me an email? I found someone else, something cheaper. I'll think about it, right? Can I have a discount? All those things. Now, also, just so you know, laughing aside, when someone also says, I'll think about it, it can often be because they don't understand your unique value. Okay? And that buying decision is like that. When I talk about the 5 steps, all of these 5 steps, you need to align everything in your business to those 5 steps so a buyer just says yes. And you know you're irreplaceable when the buyer says yes. You're exactly what I'm looking for. I can't wait to get started. My bosses told me about you. My friends told me about you. I feel like you were made just for me. So how do you apply this idea of building a category of one foundation for yourself? Here's the framework. You want to focus on what makes you irreplaceable, not just better. Why you're the obvious choice, not just a good option. What transformation you deliver, not just features. And it's hot today here in London. That's unique. I'll take my jacket off. And what's your authentic story? not just marketing copy. So that is how you build a category of one foundation. Okay, so that's all great, Sarah, but how does it work in action? So here's Marie. Marie's amazing woman, very fierce founder. She has a organic food business outside of New York in Shelter Island. Now, she'd had a business long time when she met me, but she was competing with so many other brands, and every day Marie had to stand on the front of her shop, a multi-million-dollar business already, and talk about her unique value, right? She couldn't scale beyond like 1 to 2 million where she was. So she really needed a roadmap to give buyers clarity of why she was the only choice. And the thing is, Marie has been a buyer herself for many years, and she's French. All of these things make Marie extremely fierce. So when Marie met me on her one-to-one strategy call, she said, "What do you mean I need to understand buying psychology? I've been a buyer and I've worked with the best coaches myself." And I said, "Marie, you need to give the clients clarity of why you are a category of one." She said, "What do you mean?" So we got started right there and then, really starting to unlock in that call together, stripping away, beyond organic, right? Beyond whatever your categories are, which is not your category of one, what makes you unique? So what we unpacked in less than 30 days with Marie delivers real food and things the French way. So before organic, after real food and things the French way. We focused on a clear transformation, real food for real people. Suddenly everything changed for Marie. She wasn't competing with all these other people. She was a one of one, standing out. Not only that, but her team could confidently stand in the front of her shop and sell without Marie being there. This meant that Marie could be relaxed and focus on the roadmap to scale her business. And the transformation wasn't better marketing, better systems, better anything. It was simplifying a business and underpinning actually what buyers value. So this is, organic. Do buyers really value about it? Maybe some. Real food and things the French way, so they don't need to, worry about nutrition, and they can just go to Marie's store and buy an amazing meal and go and spend time with their families, because that's really what Marie wanted for them and cared about, and why she makes real food and things the French way, and why she's a category of one. That's what they care about. That's what buyers care about. That's so much deeper than organic. So when we unpack that for Marie, her sales and profit grew by 30%, right? And Marie still talks about me years later. She was one of the first members we ever did on this program. Now, Marie and Jason didn't just become better, they became incomparable. This transformation isn't about changing you. It's about optimizing what buyers value about you the most. And Marie and Jason did this in 30 days while running their business, right? That's the first step for you guys. In buyer psychology, in sustainable scale, it's building a category of one foundation that is absolutely uncomparable. Clear? Good? Getting value? Ready to move on? Yeah? Thumbs up? Amazing! Awesome. Okay, secret to step 2, high impact offer framework. What do you mean, Sarah? Okay. So everything I'm talking about in this very simple system is about compounding growth. Each step compounds your growth. So category of one foundation, step 1, secret 1. Step 2 is about simplifying not just, again, this first element, category of one. It's also sort of really simplifying your offering to a high impact offer that is simple, systemized, and streamlined. Why? Well, here's what I discovered running $100 million budgets. Something really sad. Buyers choose less than 1% of what they're shown. The rest is overlooked at best and waste at worst. That's really what gave me my mission, because, we spend $49 trillion of stuff, products and services a year. It's going to be plus that now, actually. That's an old stat. And so much is waste, right? And I know that you guys have got products and services that are so important to the world that you need to be the number 1% that buyers choose. The truth is that buyers will choose one high impact offer over 10 average offers every single time. One high impact offer. You want to write that down, and that's what you want to have. And your category of one can also really be about your offering. So if we take that example of Marie, high impact offer, we were also then able to analyze all that Marie was selling and make sure that everything in Marie's offering was also an aligned high impact offer that delivered real food and things the French way. Now, what do most founders do? As I said at the beginning, you don't get a reply from a buyer, you doubt yourself, you're overwhelmed, somebody tells you something new or some new complicated thing, and before you've done it, you've changed everything. And you're convincing, justifying, competing. Okay? Now, here's the truth. If growth is inconsistent, the questions to ask yourself is this. Is your offer too generic or too complicated? Write your answer in the chat here. If your growth is inconsistent, what's going on? Is your offer too complicated or generic? Write it down. Complicated or generic? Right? Because buyers don't want complicated and buyers don't want generic. Okay? Complicated and generic isn't a great combo. It's not a great combo. But it's fixable. And that's why you're here. And thank you for sharing. Okay? Anyone else want to write something here? So if we take Marie's example, right? Organic food is not unique. It's generic. And then real food and things the French way, that is unique. Real food and things the French way, that's unique. And simple. That's the secret. You want unique and simple. So here's how that works in action. So, as I said, I don't just walk the walk or whatever it is, talk the talk, I walk the walk. So when I quit my job as a buyer, I became a founder. And I launched one of the world's first sustainable jeans brands. Sustainable isn't unique, is it? It's generic. But if I tried to describe it, it was very, very complicated. So I would say we made fair trade jeans, organic jeans, handmade jeans, handloom woven jeans, carbon zero jeans, naturally dyed jeans. All these things went into our innovation of our offering. So and all these experts told me all these different things and none of them worked. And when I actually sat down and I applied my own buyer psychology system, I was able to simplify my innovation to something unique, not generic, that people and buyers understood and that made them feel something, right? Like real food and real food and things the French way makes you feel something. So I simplified our innovation to feel good jeans that focused on one specific transformation for one buyer, right? Feel good jeans. It was how they were made. It was how they made people feel. Now, that simple task of simplifying our entire offering also, we weren't, focused on making loads of things, just feel good jeans and giving that package to buyers. They understood it. It was very simple. Then we got in the world's best stores after years of trying. Now, I thought this system of buyer psychology just worked in fashion. And then I had more and more people asking me for it. So then suddenly consultants used it, right? And it worked. Now I have EdTech founders using it. I have neuroscience founders using it. I have cybersecurity founders using it, as well as product founders, as well as coaches, as well as consultants, right? Now, really, what happened when you applied buyer psychology, right? You got stocked in the best retailers. That's what happened to us. We won Impact Entrepreneur of the Year. We built a celebrity cult following and we built 1 million in organic reach. Team Guy is asking, do we still have it? No. What we did was we sold the technology behind this denim to a company in India, right? Now, the different shift from, years of trying to really simplifying our offering, using buyer psychology. We went from stores ignoring us to stocked in the best stores, press ignoring us to actually building 1 million in organic reach and winning loads of awards for what we did. So this key next part of what you do is simplifying your offering so that it's so simple to a high impact offer. And I'm going to give you an example as well as we go through this of founders doing that. So here's the next secret and the next step, the social selling framework. Okay. What do I mean? So the answer to AI is human connection. And here's the truth about selling today. There are thousands of choices. The result is you get lost in the crowd, no matter how good you are. And here is what I learned, that today, winners in every niche, they want to understand you as a founder. And you're like, oh, Sarah, I don't want to make another piece of content. What if you could systemize really everything about, your persona as a founder, okay? And build a community so that you are socially selling to your niche, but in a very systemized way. So everything I'm talking about today is simplifying, systemizing, using very simple frameworks. So what I realized is, go and outsource to PR, spend hundreds of thousands on that, fine. But all they deliver for you is vanilla. The same with whoever you want to use, like outsource to social content people, they don't get into your heart of hearts. And what people want to know is your heart of hearts. As an entrepreneur, I realized the problem that service providers don't look at businesses like buyers. Buyers want to know your heart. When I was a buyer, I would travel the world to the deepest, darkest basements of the world, from Berlin to LA to warehouses, and I would be hunting founders who could really show me their heart of hearts through their communication, through how they showed up and built a founder-led movement. I remember going to Berlin and launching Acne Jeans, if you know that brand, into the UK. A huge part of that was because of social selling. They were doing it, right? So when I built my second business, I actually didn't go and take on loads of services. I built our own social selling framework. Here's what that looks like for you. It's how you can sell to buyers 24/7 by showing up in your category of one thought leadership, by using proven systems to tell your story in a way buyers understand, and then by implementing proven organic selling systems. So you build strategic partnerships, you build social selling events so that you can scale consistently. Now, I did that in my second business. And what I did, I built an online shopping platform on Instagram, selling the world's top conscious brands. And what I did using this method was be able to actually build relationships with the world's top exclusive clients that came directly to us. All on Instagram using this formula. It enabled us to build a 300K launch without a single ad, attract top 0.1% clients, including royalty and Fortune 500, build multiple six-figure months with zero paid on ads and a total investment. Right, my first business, I spent 150K on really all of these kind of complicated systems. This was less than 50. So what happened then was that innovators just like me said, how did I get all that attention? And that's how Impact Innovator was born, as a mentorship mastermind system that taught and teaches founders these principles. I'm sharing with you how they can implement these methods into their business. So here's how it works in action. This step. So imagine Carol's already done steps 1, category of 1. We simplified Carol to the world's top responsible Yakwool brand. Step 2, high impact offer. We looked at all the different things Carol was selling and simplified that so that it was really high value to buyers, right? And we pulled out what buyers valued about her the most. Step 3 is this, social selling. Carol's like, oh, Sarah, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this, like anything to do with this. But we systemized how Carol sold socially. And what difference that made for Carol. She went from feeling uncool and inauthentic after years of trying to scale online and offline to number one in her niche, so that the top influencers and partners in Asia came hunting Carol down. And this led Carol, as I mentioned earlier, to have consistent 200K sellout launches in her business. She went from one of many to the number one. And she's now, she's still like, she did my mastermind 3 years ago and she's still working with me because we're just helping her scale more and more and more and more and more, right? Now she's going towards 8 figures using this transformation system. So what you want to do for this step is give yourself permission to stop offering more and really build social selling, not just making content, being very systematic about it, building organic community and partnerships. So Secret 4 is about mindset, make an impact mindset. So let's step back a moment. 95% of whether you scale or not isn't to do with a system, actually. It's to do with your mindset, right? And here is what I learned, that as a founder, so much of your success is about your subconscious programming, right? It holds you back. And I also realized you have so much energy as a founder, right? And actually, when you're trying to sell and you're not clear in your mindset, it's really enables you to, actually come across the same problems and burn out. And I realized why founders burn out. It's emotional, because selling is emotional. And when you're not clear and systemized, it's a lot of hard work. And it was this moment that I realized that years after years of wanting to summit mountains, you keep trying with the wrong mindset. And, like we talked at the beginning, I said, what's everybody doing to grow their business? And many said, I'm just trying my own luck. And that's what I was doing. And that was a huge reason for burnout. Because, when we try and do it all ourselves, we struggle. And it was that moment that changed everything for me. And I said, you know what? I have to start investing in expert guides around me. I did that in business. It's a huge part of why I'm able to share all this with you today. And I did it in my life. I did it. Here's Mike. He helped me climb mountains. And the thing about working with expert guides is they know secrets we don't know. For example, Mike said, why you're burning out is you're taking these big steps up the mountain. Whereas actually the way to summit a mountain is this technique called the Swiss shuffle, small, small steps. Who would know that? And I realized that about all these expert guides, right? I started investing in my growth. That enabled me to reach Base Camp Everest. It's enabling me to go to the Dolomites in Italy. It enabled me, not only that, but to beat each personal best. I went to Patagonia in December, and I'm terrible at climbing mountains. I don't have great aerobic energy. But because I'd learned those techniques and principles, I was able to come number one out of 13 hikers. So my question for you is, which future wins for yourself, right? Do you want to keep going as you are or take a new road? Which one is it? Do you want a new roadmap where you unlock your real power is you? Now, if you don't, leave now, right? Take this with you, because this shift, step 5, is all about a roadmap which is centered around your real power is you. Rafi, definitely a new roadmap. Love it. Amazing. So let's dive in. Kurt, you're here for the second time, Kurt. So you love this roadmap. Let's go into it. Impact Innovator OS. Okay. So as I shared with you, everything I share today, and my team know as well, it's all been learnt the hard way, right? And I am somebody who doesn't whatever, I keep forgetting that. Talk the talk, walk the walk. I walk the walk for sure with that hiking. So my first businesses, I lost 150K building piece by piece, invested in everything everybody told me. All the experts, all the systems, all the masterminds, all the roadmaps. I'm sure you guys really connect to that as well if you've been in business more than a few years. I was doing everything right, but growth didn't work. And I realized why. And this is a really important thing to write down, because different experts create fragmentation, not integration. And buyers need that simplicity to buy. Innovation is complicated. Your innovation is complicated. And sometimes you cover up a complication or generic. Neither of them are right. Buyers need simplicity to buy. They need to know everything in a very simple way. That changed everything for me, right? I was like, I was the innovator myself, and I'm like, hang on, you've been the buyer. You know buyers need simplicity to buy, Sarah, and none of these experts can give you that because they're each giving you a piece by piece of the roadmap and system. So there wasn't a system that put all this together. So I built it because I realized fragmented doesn't work. It just creates confusion, right? Growth strategists don't speak to copy people, branding people, marketing people, don't speak to website or sales people. Nothing works. So what happens the opposite, right? When things are fragmented, things don't match up to buyers. Like I said, right? Every step of these 5 have to align to a buyer. So if who you are as a category is generic, but your innovation is amazing, but it's difficult to understand, and they don't understand you on social or how you show up, they won't buy from you. If any of those bits don't align, they won't buy from you. The opposite is true. When you align everything and you bring all that complication of the different parts of your business in-house, which is what Impact Innovator OS does, one simple system replaces all the fragmentation, all the complication. Like our client said, just simplify me. And now she's saying billion-dollar business, right? Everything plug and play for you in one simple mastermind system. That's what my process is. That's what I first built for myself. It's called Impact Innovator OS, and that's what we give our members. And the roadmap I'm sharing with you today is the top line of those 5 steps. So how it works. Boom. The first thing we do with founders, we start that on our category of 1 growth assessment, which you can apply for. As I said, there's a few spots with me. We dive deep into, how do we turn your generic or complicated into a category of 1? Where is your opportunity? This is what we unlocked with Marie, where her opportunity really lied to be real food and things the French way. Then we quickly then give you a system to be able to show up online and offline as that category of 1. So within 30 days, Marie had clarity of that, who she was, and then was able to apply it on all her socials. She was able to give that to her team that could scale without her. The next thing we do, 60 days, simplify your offering down from complicated or generic to a systemized, streamlined offer that buyers understand. And we also look at exactly how you're selling and who to, and give you the roadmap to be able to implement high impact selling to people you want to sell to. So that for Rachel here enabled Rachel to have a simple system for her business, her team to be able to scale her offer without her, and Rachel go and work on stages to be able to get funding for her business and achieve her dream of 8-figure scale. So I'm sharing with you as well how this applies for different people. So Rachel has services, Carol, who I mentioned, products. We simplified her offering here. We were able to take away all the stuff that wasn't of value to buyers, simplify that down. You can see she's wearing one of her great pieces here. I'm wearing it here. This offering simplicity enabled Carol to have 200K consistent launches. Then we have coaching. We systemize coaches in the same way so that they're able to build consistent scale with a systemized process like I'm sharing with you today. The next thing we do is social selling engine. Everything here as well isn't AI-able or cookie cutter. It's all custom made for each member. So with Alexandra, we gave her a roadmap how to show up online as number one in her niche, which led her to get funding in 30 days and scaling more and more in 90 days. All of this is in one simple system and one community, right? Everything is prearranged for you, like all the learning in this roadmap today. So you just show up and follow the process. Now, I only invite up to 2 new members a month to join Impact Innovator because I really care about every single person having that custom, personalized roadmap for them. Now, this is an invitation only mastermind. And what I do is invite people. That very first call is where we really see if you've got what it takes, right? Which I'm sure you have, but we really bring that into alignment to really scale as the number one in your niche. And that's what we unlock also in that category of one call. Now, you have 2 choices. You can take everything I've shared with you, right? And you can implement it. Now, I'm not going to pretend it's easy. It isn't easy. It's complicated, but it is easy when you have a roadmap and you have a buyer and you have a mentor, somebody to work with. So you can take it, you can do it, you'll do it eventually. I just can't control or tell you how long that's going to take. Or you have another choice where you can really meet me or my team members on that call. And we're going to start to help you unlock where you've got that category of one opportunity. And we're actually going to, live in that call together, build you out your 12-month scaling roadmap. So this is the application process, right? You apply for the call, you click this QR code, and I think we might have a couple of spots for a call left with me. My team will tell you. And then, if you're really want to move forward, then we'll see, right, about enabling you to join Impact Innovator OS. So we now have 4 minutes left, and I'm sure you've got loads of questions. And Alex, we might have some questions on LinkedIn. I want to really know what your questions are, right? So what are the questions that you have about anything that I've covered today in this session? So, people ask me like, well, what's the price of the program? So I say it's a lot cheaper, this program, than doing it piece by piece, right? And we have different price points to suit different people. So again, that's sort of, we see what your growth budget is. You click on that QR code and then we really give you different opportunities. So that's one thing. Another question I get is, how long does it take to really implement every week? So it takes 2 to 4 hours a week. That's your homework. And other people ask me, is it really customized? Yes, it is. So we work with each person one-to-one in individual biopsychology growth sessions where we really lay out for you your own customized roadmap. So there are a few questions. What else do we have? Alex, have we got any on LinkedIn?
Yes, from Freya a few minutes ago. She said, sorry, I know my offer is super strong, but when I'm on sales calls, I feel like I'm convincing people instead of trying to convert them to her program. So she's asking what she thinks is missing.
That is a really, really big problem, convincing people. So one of our members, she used to have that problem until I said, stop trying to convince people. The thing is, when you go through this process and you do, it's why it's all connected. Like when I say you've got 2 seconds to stand out, I really mean it. When you go through this process, you've done the thinking for the buyer, and we work through that together. So we work out everything in your offer. What's the thing that's the category of one? And we really go through that in the call together. And then we work out really what's your high impact offer. Not only that, I didn't really mention your ideal client today, but that's the next thing we really look at. Who's the right people to sell to? And I talked about alignment. When you start doing this, like showing up as a category of one with a simple high impact offer and selling to the people who are your actual ideal client, you don't need to convince people anymore, right? So I always say if you are having to do that, they are not your ideal client, and we teach you how to make sure that you find the right ones. So that's the answer, Alex. Any other questions? Kurt, do you have anything? Team Gaia, Maria, Eddie, Rafi? No? Any others? Okay. Well, I'm sure we will go through questions as well. You know, when I see you guys next. Okay, so we're on the hour, right? And as Rylan has put there, there's limited spots available and it is a one-time opportunity for this. So if you really care about your growth, do it. And well done for being here, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Maria. It's been really great to spend this time with you today. I always say this, like I said on the mountain, like individually, we're all amazing, but together we transform our world. So thank you very much, guys. Take care. See you soon. Bye. Bye, everyone.